What's up? It's your boy Carcino here, and let's talk about it. The Predator, one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's best films he's ever made, one of the biggest, came out in 1987 and shocked the whole movie theater world when they came up with the alien at the last minute. Jean-Claude Van Damme was originally going to play the Predator, and he was wearing some metal device and he kept fainting in the suit. So they had to fire him because he kept passing out. It was so hot in that costume. So they decided to use Kevin Peter Hall, and he was a 7-foot tall giant, but he was very good at moving around. He played Harry from Harry and the Hendersons. He was on a season that had one show called The Misfits of Science. He was married to a lady that worked on Sesame Street, forgot her name. She recently passed away too, as he passed away first from AIDS. But he did the first 2 Predator films and gave the look and the movement and everything of the Predator. That's why the rest of the Predators they fail in comparisons. Now, you guys didn't know there were sequels. Schwarzenegger to play Dutch. His name was Dutch Schaefer. And Dutch Schaefer, there was a sequel that continued right after the original Predator. Not too many of you guys know that, huh? You probably say, well, what do you mean? Here's what I mean. Arnold was supposed to be in Predator 2, the one that starred Danny Glover. He was supposed to be in the film, but when he didn't want to reprise the character, or they couldn't, they had a scene in there that was mainly for him. I don't know if you remember Danny Glover's character and what was it, Gary Busey's character, the one that was hunting down the Predator. He's the guy that went to the hospital to visit Arnold Schwarzenegger. They talk about his character briefly in the movie. They speak on him real quick. They don't really spend too much time dwelling on him, but they speak on him enough so that you understand that they're talking about him. Yo, what's up, Cecilia? Yours, I see you. Domo. So they had a film. When they were showing the thing on the screen, they were going to show an interview they did with Arnold Schwarzenegger in a hospital bed. See, the story is that's how he got all the information about the Predator. Arnold Schwarzenegger was sick. When the bomb went off on the Predator's arm, the radiation from the blast gave him radiation sickness. So he was in the hospital sick because he was suffering from radiation sickness. And they kept him isolated because the government wanted this kind of weapon. They was like, man, what kind of weapon does this? And it was on someone's arm. So they thought he was crazy when he was telling the story, but it was so precise that they didn't believe he was crazy anymore. It went from, okay, this guy's crazy, I had to investigate and find out what's going on here. And the reason he believed them because there were other predators that were on the planet when this happened. The spaceship was above Earth, and they just sent down another predator once the other predator detonated himself. So it was like they were up on the spaceship watching what was transpiring with their technology. And once he detonated and was beaten by Dutch, they sent another predator down. It was his initiation to find his greatest challenge. We're gonna get the predators. So in the script, Dutch was the one that was supposed to give the information to Gary Busey's character, who goes out and tries to hunt this thing down and capture it. Once he finds out Danny Glover ends up killing this thing, Danny Glover warned and told the news, told everybody aware about this alien that was here and took off, and everybody saw the crater and the ship leave. Arnold Schwarzenegger was in the hospital being treated for his radiation sickness. Comes in. I know, but that's how he knows the line. When Danny Glover says, "You one ugly," and he grabs him by the throat and finishes the line, he knows it because it came from the other predator. They monitored everything that happened on Earth, so they knew the line, everything. They knew how he got trapped, how he got beat, everything. So they saw it all, and they sent down another one because the spaceship is right above. So when they came down and sent another predator, the ship was actually landed in the sewer. So when they got a chance to leave, they came up out of the ground and went back up into space. And the ship was cloaked, so that the United States and nobody knew the ship was even there. That's why they knew so much about him, and they had been tracking him. So Dutch finds out, because Danny Glover puts it out in the newspaper, even though the government tried to silence him, when he told them, "You'll get your chance, like they'll be back." He told them, he went on a television show and told them what happened, and the government came there and said, "No, we got to shut this down. We can't let nobody know." But he already went live on television and told the whole world. Yeah, he had the Robert Downey Jr., Robert Morton Downey, whatever his name is, the crazy loudmouth guy. He got popular for being a loudmouth. They put him on there on the show, and he gave an exclusive interview and ran it all down. So once he told him what happened and that he beat him, and there was a whole bunch of them, and the spaceship took off, and everybody saw a spaceship leave, and people were trying to say, "Was that a spaceship we saw?" And Danny Glover was, yes. Arnold Schwarzenegger was in the hospital bed. He saw this Dutch character, and he disappeared. He escaped from the hospital. He got out of there from the military base, and he was gone. And no one knew where to find him. So you guys didn't know, Dutch has a brother who was also in the military. He was young, and he didn't know what happened to his brother, because that was the end of Predator 2. That's how Predator 2 ended, when he found out this had happened. So Predator 3, that was going to take place at the time, they had the script written for Predator 3. Dutch's brother comes in, wants to know what happened to his brother, who is Arnold Schwarzenegger. His name is something Schaefer. I don't know. He's another big guy, looks like Arnold, and he wants to know what happened. So the first thing they do is he tracks down Danny Glover, and Danny Glover tells him he saw his brother on film in a hospital bed, and they interviewed him. So when he went there, he told him about the predators, everything. So he heard about him. So they told the brother, they said, well, here's what happened. He had an encounter with one of these things that was on the ship. He got so sick with radiation, we just left him there. There was nothing we could do for him. So we left him there, and he died. And he was like, you just left my brother there to die? It's like there was nothing we could do. He was so sick, we would have all got infected, and he told us to just leave him. It was hurt us, but we had to leave your brother there. Which was a lie. So next thing you know, the brother goes back to the jungle to go look for his brother. To go look for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger was never there. They lied. They wanted to put him in there because they want to see, would he draw out another predator so that they can scout him and follow him. This was all a scam. So Predator 3, this was the script. Arnold Schwarzenegger's younger brother is in the safari where they filmed Predator 1. And he's looking for the body of his brother the same way Dutch and them was in there looking for General Hopper. He's in there looking for Dutch. The Dutch was never there. The government sent them in there because they want to investigate this, and they want to see if there's any more of those things out there. They want to try to capture one alive because they want the bomb that's on his arm. Now, the reason why Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't do these films is because his career had went through the ceiling since Predator. Since Predator, that was like what put him on the map for A-list films. Predator wasn't an A-list film. That was an all-right film, but he was paid like an A-level star after that. And since then, he didn't need to look back to Predator. It's like, I'm too big for Predator right now. But he's like, I would come back and do a little small thing for Predator. So when Predator 2 they were in negotiation, he was too busy. He had just did Total Recall, and now they're going from Total Recall to Terminator 2. So it's like, dude, he's in a whole thing right now where he's really busy. He had no time to reprise Dutch. Yep. So now that doesn't even start. So his younger brother gets in there and people start getting killed. There is another Predator there. He comes down because the Predator wants this. They want to see. You remember when the Predator held Arnold Schwarzenegger head to the tree and he kept turning his head, looking at both sides of him before he drops him? The reason why he did that is because he was amazed. He was how smart he was. He couldn't believe he was human. He turns his head on both sides like to see like what is going on with this guy. I can't believe this guy's human. He's way smarter than anybody I've faced. So he's dropped him to see was there anything special about him, to see was this guy another predator like him or intelligent. That's why he gave him a fair fight. He's like, this guy deserved a fair fight. So the same thing, they knew that the predators knew this was the brother. So they were saving him for last, picking everybody off one by one. And now they're aware and they know to use mud to cover themselves. Like the brother knew all this information. They had their face covered. They went to the blast site to investigate. But now the predators got technology where they can see through the mud. They know how to adjust their arm thing so the mud wasn't going to work no more. They go off the heart levels. So that was how they were monitoring. When you had the mud and they couldn't see you and it cooled your body down, they would switch their arm level band and switch it to a heart monitor. They would monitor your heartbeat. Boop, 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 boop. So in Predator 3, they were monitoring their heartbeat and how he was able to beat the predator, the brother. He was able to fool him because he learned the technique in the military. Because he was high trained, he knew how to lower his heartbeat, his heart rate. without going into cardiac arrest. He learned how to lower his heart rate. He figured it out. And it was so low to the point where he thought he was like an animal or some type of like dying. It was so faint he couldn't pick it up. It didn't match a human's heartbeat. So he was able to lower his heart rate and stay cool. And he was chasing down the predator, hunting. He was able to set traps. And the same traps that Dutch was setting is the same traps he knew as well, because his father was a military guy and he trained both of them. So in the end, long story short, he ends up killing the predator. And after he kills the predator, he gets some assistance because the predator gets smart and do something to injure him. And this causes his heart rate to go up. So the predator finds him and checks him out and wants to do another fight. And this time he's gonna kill him. He doesn't go for the traps. He see them all. So this predator is more advanced. And right when he's getting ready to kill him, Dutch comes in. Woof. Arnold Schwarzenegger comes in, stabs him in the chest, and he lifts him up, throws him down, and kills him with some type of wooden spear. He's got a big beard. Dutch came there and killed him. So after Dutch kills him and he saves his brother, he tells his brother, get out of here, run. And he says, where you gonna be? He's like, I'll find you. But don't get out of the military, get out of all of it. Just go. Just go into hiding. The government is never gonna let you live. They're gonna say you're sick and they're gonna keep you in the hospital. You gotta run. So Dutch ended up running because he couldn't trust anybody. So the Predator ship shows up. And the Predator ship shows up. All these predators come from all over the place. And Dutch's brother's looking. Dutch looks at him. And he puts a stogie in his mouth. Lights the stogie. And blows it. And then he goes on the ship with the chief, the big chief. And then the ship closes and they go up in space. Boof. Dutch went with the predators. Now, I told you I was going to fast forward you through all this. Those were the 3 Predator films that they had written. Now, in the movie Predators that came out, the Predators movie was based on a script about Dutch. The whole thing was about Dutch. And the story where they got Adrian Brody playing is what was going to happen to Arnold Schwarzenegger character at the end of Predator 3 when they took him in the ship and he went off with the Predators. What they were doing was putting him in an arena and letting him fight other animals and things from other planets and having a contest. They were putting him basically in a Mortal Kombat around the universe. So that's what was happening while he went away. They were like, you're one of us, basically. And you didn't know it because at the end of Predators, when they picked up Adrian Brody's character and everything else, when they rewritten the script, Adrian Brody's character had went around and was doing all this stuff at the end. Because remember, you like, how did they get out of here? Are they just stuck? Because they ain't on their own planet. They're not in their own solar system. So how are they gonna get out of there? They cut the scene because Arnold Schwarzenegger was too busy in his government stuff. He didn't have time to film the end credit scene. They wanted to bring in Arnold Schwarzenegger to film the end. Arnold was supposed to come at the very end on a spaceship. An alien spaceship lands after they killed the last alien and everything else, this super alien. So they're supposed to come down, and once they land, the ship comes down and it's a Predator walkout. He's got on the Predator mask and everything. And when the Predator mask opens up, it's Dutch. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger with the beard. He's got a spear like them, and they're with him. The other Predators come with him, and he's like, damn good job. And he picks them up to take them home. He's supposed to show up at the end of Predators. That got cut off because he didn't have time to film it. So they had to cut the whole scene where he shows up at the end. He's with the Predators. Now, in the new movie, The Predator, that's coming out, Shane Black wanted Arnold Schwarzenegger to be in the film. They had talks about it. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was like, man, I don't think Arnold's going to be in it because of the fact I think he wants a bigger role now. Because Arnold was like, man, this would bring me back big time if I was in this movie. You know, and he got Terminator 6 coming out. So this was really going to bring him like through the roof. So here it is. Here's the scenario. They're going through a whole different sequence where yeah, and this new Predator, he's supposed to be in it. And he's supposed to show up at the end. Right now, they did a recut even after the Predator was out. They did 2 more additional days for shooting. They didn't say what it was for. A lot of people think they're going to sneak Arnold Schwarzenegger into the film now. So, in this Predator film, you might see Arnold come back. Another Predator is coming. Where have you been? Where has he been? They did. Shane Black did 2 more additional days of shooting all of a sudden. So everybody's waiting on Arnold. They think that is Arnold. So I wanted to keep you guys informed so you guys would know that there was a trilogy for Predator that was set up 1, 2, and 3. But after 2 didn't have Arnold in it and it didn't do what everybody thought it was going to do, and it just like, people were like, this is terrible. They went to another direction. Immediately, they just shut down doing Predator. Thanks, sincerely yours. He said, man, they should do a troll with Arnold, Danny, and the chick from the Alien vs. Predator 1. They gonna try to get Danny. He gonna be, man, I'm too old for this. He be, come on. I know, look at me. I'm older than you, Danny. I just grew a beard. No one really knows. I got a new heart.
I think this heart might come from a black man. I don't even know. I could still do it. And with CGI, they can make you look younger. They can make you look like when you were fighting the Predator. You were bigger than me, Danny. Man, I don't know about none of that. I'm getting too old for this.
Then she be, y'all forgot I ran with a Predator? Yeah, we still trying to figure that out. Sit down. Shut up. Go in the kitchen and cook up something to eat. And bring me a beer.
Now, listen, Danny.
Right, you running neck to neck with a Predator. That would never happen. The Predator would have been 16 leagues ahead of you. There you can leap from tree to tree, building to building, and you mean to tell me she running neck to neck with a Predator? I almost threw a spear through the movie screen. I'm like, bull it. My boy almost fought R. Kelly. My boy almost fought R. Kelly this weekend. Oh man, y'all won't even believe what happened, man. It was